She put all the furniture in here.
Oh, cool. Nice.
We good to go? We're live. Day 3 at the Lewis and Clark County Stampede and Fair. We are at the Red Quill Media booth. We're next to the LC4 candidate campaign booth. We're going to start our day off with another vendor. I'm going to let him introduce himself and his booth. But welcome to day 3 at the fair.
Awesome. Yeah, no, happy to be here. My name's James. I'm with Repower Solar and Battery. We're a local solar and battery backup installation company here out of Montana. We got started in Kalispell, but we now have kind of 5 locations throughout the state, and one of which is in Helena. So we've been super excited to get more involved in the community and happy to be here at the fair.
So I think 2 years ago, there was a bunch of solar guys at the fair, like 2 or 3 of them, different ones. What, when did you guys start, and what differentiates you from all the ones that were trying to sell us the solar during the, get your credits, get your tax credits?
Yeah, the crazy solar boom before everything. Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's quite a bit that I would say for us specifically. We really go about solar, I think, from a different standpoint from day one, which is that Joel and I, Joel's the owner of the company, and we got started day one together back in 21. We really had this vision of making solar as affordable as possible it could be for everybody. And so that wasn't that we wanted to use cheap products or anything like that. In fact, we refused to, and we can kind of talk about that. But we really want to make sure that solar isn't this overly complicated, crazy expensive thing that people get taken advantage of, which we saw kind of swarm across the country with all these companies. Luckily, what's happened is when the tax credit went away, a lot of those companies did too. And so that's kind of what we've seen is that, they just couldn't survive under that model.
So when I was looking into it, it was more or less just because I needed to lower my power bill. And then I wanted I could put a generator in if I have a power outage, or I could have batteries.
Right.
So that appealed to me, was having when there's no power, maintaining power.
Yep.
So 2 questions. How does your system feedback? Does it feed back in? How does it lower my power bill? And then how does that transfer into power outages?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually we're the premier installer for Tesla. And what we work with is the Tesla Powerwall 3 as kind of an all-in-one solution that's going to do all of those items that you're talking about. So it's going to make sure that we're net metering, which for those of you who don't know, that means that we bank any extra power we'd use during the summertime to use during our cloudy winters. So essentially making it even out year round. So that way we wipe out the whole electric bill. The battery then makes it to where we store that power on site so that we can use it during power outages. But I think more relevant to what people are seeing across Montana, because we service not just Northwestern Energy here in Helena, but a lot of different utilities, is utilities are starting to introduce what's called demand charges, which is on top of your usage charge, to essentially say, I'm going to charge you a one-time fee based on how much power you pulled during our window. And the battery can also intelligently get rid of that, regardless of what the solar's doing. And so we encourage all of our customers to not only get a battery for backup scenario, but also to lock in the fact that now they don't have to worry about Northwestern Energy or anybody else introducing a crazy demand charge that then is going to even charge them more after they got rid of their bill with solar.
Now I need to get somebody from PSC down here because I have some follow-up questions for them. So Tesla.
Yeah.
Same company, same guy.
Yep.
When I got, so I have satellite on my truck.
Yeah.
I went to an installer and said, can you install this? He says, no, you have to buy that yourself. So how is Tesla like that, where you have to buy the equipment and then you install it, or are you bringing the equipment in?
Great question. No, we do everything from A to Z for the customers. And so Tesla is specific, and they're actually pulling back on a lot of that option for DIY because they really want to make sure that their product gets installed correctly. And because they put such a long warranty on it, they do constant quality controls with us. We're fairly unique that there are thousands of certified Tesla installers in the country. There's less than 100 premier installers in the entire country, and that's what we are. And it just separates the fact that we do constant quality checks with Tesla. We have oversight and a really great relationship with them to make sure that we have our labor warranties covered and that we're actually servicing our customers after installing them. So anybody can kind of sell a Tesla product, but they're really pulling back on the idea of, kind of that DIY market. So it is really designed to make sure that it's installed by a professional.
So I'm looking for solar. I'm coming to the fair. I come to your booth. Walk me through what I need to bring you, or what do I need to show you, or what questions do I need to ask to figure out ultimately what it's going to cost me, how much glass or solar am I putting up on my roof.
Mm-hmm.
And the last guys that I asked wanted to put a whole solar field next to my house.
Right.
How do you figure that out, and what's the process to start the figuring out whether or not it's for you or not?
Yeah, I think those are great questions. So if you were to come to our booth and you're looking at getting a quote, the easiest thing for us, a lot of people talk about their house size or what appliances they have. Although that's good information, really the most important thing is going to be the electric bill. Because on one of the PDF versions of the electric bill, it's got an annual usage chart on it. And so the first step for us, like I was saying with net metering, we're just going to add all that up. We're going to say, if you use 20,000 kilowatt hours a year, if I put in a system that produces 20,000 a year, I've effectively wiped out all of your usage. So that's our first step to talk about sizing the system. But then beyond that, we also want to talk about how we can introduce again those batteries so that you have resilience from the grid. Power outages are unfortunately becoming more common in a lot of different areas. So we want to make sure that people are protected for those use cases. And then, of course, those demand charges, like I said. But that's kind of our process so that we can size and put the system together. Roof mounting is the cheapest way to go solar because we don't have to build a structure for it to go on. The only reason why you might see somebody suggest a ground mount is either they're lazy, right, and they just didn't look at it, or they really wanted to get you to what we call 100% offset, or those two numbers evening out, the usage and the production. And you just, excuse me, no worries. And you just maybe didn't have enough room on your roof to do so. So that's why you might see people go ground mount. But I'm really glad you brought that up because in the past, ground mounts have been really expensive for people. They do concrete and crazy piers and steel and all this stuff. And again, with our focus of trying to make solar affordable, we've gone a different route where all of the racking that we do is a commercial grade for essentially solar farms. And so it's way less expensive for a really long lasting solution. And so we're able to do ground mounts that are a lot less of a difference in cost as the roof mount. So it does really just depends on what the preferences are of the customer.
What effect does roof mount have on my existing roof?
Not really anything other than where the panels are going to be is going to be now taking all of the abuse that your roof would have been, right? So generally that portion of the roof is going to stay good a lot longer than the other portions. So if people are within about 5 years of needing a new roof, we suggest they replace it first before we install. Otherwise, it's really easy to unbolt everything and re-put it back on afterwards.
And what's the maintenance on a solar panel? So
very little.
We're in winter.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Montana, so I get a foot of snow overnight. Am I out the next morning brushing off all my solar panels so that they can see the sun?
We don't suggest it, right? So I think it's a great question. Could you do it? Absolutely. The reality is that although the clouds and everything and the snow do affect it, what affects wintertime production the most is the shorter days. I think we all know we have like 12-hour days or 13-hour days or whatever it is right now. In the wintertime, we may only have a few hours of light. And so even if you were to go through all of that energy and effort to go clear those panels off, the amount of production you're going to produce is just not worth it. And what I mean by that is that surprisingly, the cheapest part of a solar system is generally the solar panel itself. The racking and the inverters and all of the everything to make it happen is a lot of times the most expensive part. And so what we're looking at when we're doing a system is that sometimes it just makes more sense to throw another panel up that's going to be producing power all summer long. That's just going to produce way more than what you're going to need so that you don't have to worry about clearing that snow off during the winter time, which is why we talk to people who say, oh no, I watch my neighbor's solar and snow sits on it for months. That doesn't make sense. Well, it's because they've banked up all of their credits during the summertime and they don't need to worry about it.
So explain banking
Yeah.
to somebody that has no idea what you're talking about. Am I getting credits from the power company? I'm not storing all of my power and batteries all summer
Correct.
to use during the winter. So
Yep.
explain banking when you say banking power.
Great. So it's really simple concept. Essentially, on a day like today, where it's super bright and sunny, that solar is going to first come in and feed the house and everything that the house is using. So if you're running your AC, you're running your microwave, whatever it is, that's going to come directly from the solar. But as the sun comes up, the solar is going to produce a ton of excess power. So normal people, their meters only go one direction. They only go tracking power. When you get solar, you get a meter that goes both directions. One that's going to go in the opposite direction, go negative, just like you wish you could do with your car or something like that. And so the electricity company or the utility is going to give you credit for everything you send back to them. And so that's what we mean by banking, essentially using the utility as a really large battery. Now, that's not kind of how it happens. What they actually do is they sell it to your neighbors. So then when your neighbors are using power, they're actually using your electricity rather than the one coming from the power plant. So, and that's how that works. So during the summertime, we're going to get a ton of days where we've banked that credit. During the wintertime, we're going to pull from that credit when we're not producing near as much.
All right. Well, I have some questions for PSC. I have some follow-up questions for PSC. So
Yeah.
Annie, if you're in Helena, come down to the fair so we can sit down and have a discussion. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me on. This is really fun.
We're trying to get all the vendors
an
opportunity to come, hawk their wares, tell people what they're doing, how to find them.
Yep.
Get them down to the fair.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. Come down. It's been a great event so far. One thing I just always want to mention with people and I'm not sure if we have a time limit that we got to wrap up.
We'll sit here and talk solar all day if you want.
Perfect. One big thing that we talk to people about is this idea that solar is going to cost them money. Does it cost money for us to come and install solar on their house? Absolutely it does. But it's money they're already spending. And what we find is the reason why solar is as expensive as it is today, the majority of that cost comes into the fact that our most expensive line item is getting people like you to be able to come in and see how we can help them save money. And so it's mostly marketing and doing events or different things like that. That's one of our largest line items. That's why you see people going out and knocking on doors or whatever it is. We could significantly lower the cost of solar and how much it would cost to get people energy if it was just more widely available for people to get realistic quotes quickly. And so that's a big mission that we're trying to do, is have somebody be able to show up and say, I pay $100 a month. Instead of renting their power forever, let's just switch that to $100 a month that's adding value to your home rather than paying a utility company forever. And then when they double their electricity rate, so now it's $200 a month, yours stays at $100. And that's what makes solar a no-brainer for most of our customers.
is it possible to bank more energy than you use and get the power company sending you money?
Unfortunately, no.
I need PSC down here.
Yep. None of the utilities will pay you out. In fact, Northwestern Energy steals it each year. So, like Flathead Electric, they do a really great job actually, where they let you bank credits and they don't have a reset date once a year. Versus or Northwestern Energy, April 1st, which is the one everybody should choose. If they owe you 3,000 kilowatt hours, they're going to take it and zero you back out once a year. So, but I guess that's what you get with a for-profit utility.
Huh. Sounds like there might be a bill that needs to be written.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and especially when we see the fact that they're all out of power.
Well,
Like-
we're talking about data centers now
Yeah.
and the huge power consumption they're going to take.
Mm-hmm.
And we won't get into data center, but why would we give free power back and not, if I'm going to spend the money to put the system in
Mm-hmm.
and create the power, then you need to pay me for what I invested.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. So great. Well, thanks
all
so
right.
much for having
Hey,
me on.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
100%. Appreciate it.
Oh, did I say that New Vision provided our set yet? I need to let her know how great this is because she put all the furniture in here. She made it look this nice. And we have to shout out every time so that everybody knows where to go to get this type of furniture. She won't let me sell this stuff. She said I couldn't get rid of this one.
You
Stuff
can't get rid
behind
of
me,
this.
She said is down at the thrift shop, but
Nice.
I told her I could sell that horse head too. I might have to talk her out of it.
Great. Well, thank you,
right.
everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.